Good afternoon, my friends. It's Simon Leon here from Two Way Digital, and we're talking about technical SEO and how to actually start structuring your website ready for your content to rank on the search engines. So, if you're live, give me a hi, say hello. I'll give you a shout out. If you're on replay, give me a hashtag replay. Let me know that you've seen this video. Please feel free to share if that's something that you like to do. Give other people the value as well. So let's get straight into it. I mean, let's talk about using an SEO-friendly URL structure. So what does that actually mean? Well, when you use certain sort of systems, the actual URL that you type in sometimes can look quite ugly. And what you need to have is ideally something that tells people where they're at. So you can kind of see just by looking at the address of the page that your content is on, what it's about. So the content will have the keywords in it that you're looking to talk about, but it might be in a subcategory and a main category under your blog post or news section or wherever it is. So there are some limits to how long you can make this. It's not something that most people generally have to worry about because it's up around the 2,000 character mark. The hard limit that was originally set, I think, in Internet Explorer was 2,083 characters. Other people say 2,048 because that's a 2K section. Yes, 2,048 characters is 2K. And then other people just say around 2,000. But if you're around the 2,000 character mark, so for the full length of URL, then you're going to be okay. Because this is technical, I feel like explaining that little technical bit is okay. Bear with me. But in terms of the actual format, so like I say, when you go into your website now, depending on what system you're using, you may already have some relatively good URL structures. That's obviously something that you could take a look at. But if you're using even potentially a CMS now, content management systems such as WordPress, there are others around, but WordPress is really popular. The default settings on them are for the content to be displayed by page numbers, which when you look at it, it tells you absolutely nothing about what the content structure actually is. So really what you're looking for, like I say, is you're going to want a category and possibly around a category keyword. So it could be your service, for example, and then you'll have a subcategory potentially with a keyword in it, and then your primary keyword will all be included within the name of your document. And if you have that structure, what that does is a couple of things. First of all, it makes it nice and easy for the people actually looking at your content to know exactly where they are in your content structure. So if you're going slightly more advanced and you're using content clusters and you've got lots of related content within each of the subcategories and main categories, then people can see where they are when they're navigating around, and it's really easy to get an understanding of where you are and what you're looking at. It also helps the search engines because they will then see, based on those content clusters, what your related material is, what your related content is, and it's very easy for them to see if you've got 3 or 4 sort of main categories, subcategories before you get to your content, and then within that you've got several pieces of content. Clearly, it's all related, and so that makes it really easy for the search engines to understand, what you're trying to achieve with your content, and that's really great for potentially ranking, especially when you've got a lot of content. Now, content clusters, they, like I said, they are something that's slightly more advanced, and this is not something that I would recommend you just go and click a button and change if you're using WordPress. If you already have the friendly URL structures, so you're using the document names rather than the page numbers, etc. That's great. You don't need to change anything. One of the great things with WordPress is it also indexes via the tags and categories, etc. So when you use something like WordPress and you create a lot of content and you tag it out properly, it actually doesn't matter so much about having that sort of ideal format for the clustering of content. But what you can find is that if you've got content already and you've been producing content for a while, but you're not actually using the friendly format, just by changing it from the P equals 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, to the name of the document, actually can cost you rankings within the search engines. So if you've got pages ranked, even though they haven't been using the friendly URL structure for SEO, then it's not a good idea to just go and click on and change it, because it will affect your rankings, and not in a good way. So what you would need to do is, really, to minimize the damage, is think about what the structure is going to be, plan it all out properly, decide which content is going to be in which categories, etc. If you're changing on a standard platform, but if you're changing on a WordPress platform, you want to have something that sets up forwards from the old name of the content to the new name of the content in terms of the URL, so that you don't lose all of your page rank or your link juice for that content. It can get quite involved. Like I say, it's considered one of the more advanced structures, particularly when you're changing the format. If it's something you're new to and you're just starting out and you've not really created any content, it's probably okay to change it, but I would check first. I would do an audit on your site, have a look and see if any pages are ranking, and then if you do change that, because it's going to affect the whole site, then actually make sure that you get that any page ranked content gets a hard forward, a 301, to your new URL, and then you keep the page rank. So it's not quite as straightforward as clicking a switch, although it does look that way. If you look on the back end of WordPress, it is literally 2 clicks and you're done. But it can have some profound impact if you don't look at what your current situation is and take stock of that, and then be prepared to lose page rank if you don't do it properly. So yeah, using a friendly URL is lots of benefits, but if you've got lots of content already and it's not a friendly URL, then it's a more considered change, and you have to approach it properly, not to poorly affect your rankings. Yeah, that will do. So yeah, that's it for today. We'll be carrying on throughout these videos with more technical SEO, so keep tuned in. If you're looking to create content and you want it to do well in the search engines, then by all means tune in Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 o'clock, and I'll be here to give you more free tips and ideas. If there's anything that's not clear, please do feel free to ask questions either in the comments or join the group. I'll put a link below the video so that you can get to the blog post, and the link to join our group is there. Or if you're watching this on my profile, then just look over to the left and you'll see a link to the group over there. So yeah, that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, have a good afternoon, and take care. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.